Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen Brown. I'm a relationship healing and self-worth recovery life coach, author, and mentor, aka I help people heal from people pleasing. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about setting boundaries. And this is a topic that is really exciting to me because it is when the rubber hits the road with our self-worth recovery. Two things can happen. One, when we start setting and maintaining our healthy boundaries, that will build our self-worth. But also when we start to cultivate our self-worth, we'll be more able to set and maintain healthy boundaries. So it's like on a twofold win-win situation here. So if you are seeking out this video, chances are that you're really kind of unclear about what boundaries mean, how to set them, what happens when you get pushback, why do I ask for something and it doesn't happen? I mean, there's so much that goes into understanding boundaries, but it's not complicated. So the questions that you are asking right now, they're totally legit. They're totally normal. And I've asked all those same questions too in life because I was not getting the results that I wanted when I set boundaries. So what is a boundary? It's really important to just understand exactly what a boundary is. What it is healthy limits that we set with other individuals that we interact with that put a line of delineation between their behavior and our acceptance. So what that means is if somebody is acting in such a way that we don't like, that we don't enjoy, that is imposing on us, that is attacking to us, whatever this might look like for you, then we are willing to make a request of that person to stop that particular thing. Now, what a boundary is not is forcing someone to change. Many times people think you need to do this, that's what a boundary is. That's not a boundary. That's actually be controlling. And sometimes that can be manipulating, right? That we cannot control other people. And this is really super important baseline knowledge that you need to understand is we have no power to change other individuals, period. No power. Okay. We only have the power to change, heal, shift, grow, and evolve ourselves. And when we're in a situation that we're not enjoying or that we don't like, or we're being treated some kind of crappy way, then it is up to us to change something inside of us that puts a limit on that behavior. Because many people think that we have to get the other person to change, and we can't. We have zero power there. So stop trying to do that. Boundaries are about you. They're about setting and maintaining healthy limits for yourself. Boundaries are all about taking care of your sacred self. This is about going within and saying, what do I enjoy communing with, interacting with, and what do I not enjoy? Because if we don't have that basis, that foundation of what it is that we like and don't like, then it's going to be very, very difficult to set boundaries because things are going to arise and we're going to be like, okay, well, I kind of don't like that too, but I don't really know what to do with that. And then we go and think about it for 3 days and we're not sure if we can go back and set the boundary. Excuse this bang, you guys. This is the bane of my existence. That's done that my whole life. Anywho, I digress. So it's important to come up with what I call an unacceptable treatment guideline. And I talk about it in my first book, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment. An unacceptable treatment guideline is making a list. Actually, you can even write this down because the more you think about it and know it fully inside your body, the better able you are going to be able to request a boundary around that thing. And I'm using the word request here purposefully, and I'll get to that in a minute. So when we set that bound, when we know what is unacceptable to us, when we know what we are no longer willing to tolerate, I also call this a zero toleration policy. When we know what we're no longer willing to tolerate, then when that thing comes up, that is when we are required to set a boundary. And I will say this, that even if you come up with, like you didn't set it in that time because you didn't feel strong enough, or you were in a place that you felt embarrassed to do so, or all the things that come up inside of us as we're learning to be good boundary setters, you can go back and set that boundary later. Okay. I call those boundaries in hindsight. So let's say somebody does something crappy to me and I'm kind of like, but we're in a public situation and, I'm not really sure what to do with that. Well, later, as I process through it, I give myself permission to have a conversation with that person later and to express my request to them. Okay, so you got to be able to give yourself permission to go backwards and to handle that if you need to. But first, what am I meaning by request? Okay, so when somebody does something that we don't like, that is disrespectful or yucky, and it just makes us feel disrespected or hurt or attacked or whatever it might be that they're doing, and you know what they are because your body is going to alert you. All right, we've got this beautiful thing called an emotional guidance system, and what that system does is it alerts us through emotions about things that are working in our life and things that are not working in our life, right? They're things that need our attention. So when we're feeling some kind of darker or heavier emotion, some people like to call them negative emotions, which I don't like to call them negative because I don't believe any emotion is negative. I believe they're all purposeful and serving. Some we just don't enjoy as much as the others. But when we have that internal alert, that is to show us, that's a guidepost for us to go, yeah, that was not okay. Let me think about how I'm going to handle this. So the first thing to do is that we make a request of that person and we say, I'm requesting that, and I'll make some things up. You don't raise your voice to me when you're speaking to me. Let's say it's that, or that you don't make jokes at my expense in front of your family, or that you don't drive intoxicated. Okay, I'm just making these up on the fly because I like to speak from my heart in my videos. So you can just come up with what it is for you, but there's something that's happening that you don't like. You make the request. I'm requesting that you do not do that any longer in my presence. Okay, you do not do that. That is painful to me. I don't like the way that feels to me. Now, two things are going to happen. The person is either going to say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. All right. Yes, you're right. I shouldn't be doing that. I'm not going to do that. I will change that. And you probably notice a quick change with that person. Now, change doesn't happen all the time immediately because sometimes people are in habitual patterns of things and it might take a minute. However, the fact that they're willing to change that thing is really positive. The fact that they met you with openness, and they're like, my bad, then you know that this person is willing to change that. When we run up against a problem is when we state these things to somebody and they start fighting us. They push back because a lot of times people don't like boundaries because it's shining light on their shadow. It's shining light on their bad behavior, and they don't like that. They don't want to be seen in that light. So they're going to push back and maybe try to make you wrong. All right. When that happens, here's what's most important. You can tell that person, listen, you can continue to yell or continue to drive drunk, or you can continue to do whatever it is you're doing. However, I will remove myself from that situation. I'm no longer going to keep myself involved in that or allow my sacred self to be involved in that. So go, you do you, boo, but I am going to remove myself if you do that thing again. And then we must be willing to follow through. Okay. This is the basis of boundaries. It is putting limits on other people's unacceptable behavior. It's speaking it as a request, and then it's willing to follow through with an action if needed. We all have choices every single day how we show up in life and relationships. And if your person's choice is to act a certain way, that is their choice, and they get to have that choice because they are the authority of their own self. But you are the authority of you, and your choice is to not allow that in your life anymore, and you're allowed to have that choice. You must give yourself permission to be your own best guardian, best friend, superhero, police officer, protection officer, whatever it might be. You must be willing to be your own. And yes, it is hard sometimes when we get the pushback because we're so afraid of being disliked or losing the other person that sometimes it takes a minute. I'm just going to be honest. As you're recovering from your people pleasing and you're learning to fill your worthiness cup so that you can show up a more empowered and strong person, sometimes we get a little wishy-washy in there. Don't beat yourself up about that. Okay. Our whole life is a learning journey. That's what we're here for. Okay. We are on a spiritual path to learn and grow. And we don't knock it out of the park first thing every single time. It's going to take a minute. So give yourself grace and compassion and acceptance and forgiveness along the way so that you don't keep adding more to your unworthiness cup. Just say, okay, I see I didn't do that very well, but the next time I'm going to do that a little bit better. I hope you guys got so much from this today. I would love if you comment below. I read all your comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Your feedback is very important to me. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to post a question down there. Make it clear and succinct, though, so that I know exactly what it is you're asking, and I will answer that likely in the Dear KB playlist. If you guys haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, and I look forward to our next conversation. Mwah. So much love to all of you. Bye.